Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for opening me, for giving me this opportunity to be your human library. My name is Maiga Bilqis. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm a legal assistant dealing with mainly SGBV cases. I work with Africa Humanitarian Action. Before getting my role, I studied LLB at Islamic University in Uganda. I went ahead and did a diploma in legal practice at Law Development Center, where I acquired my certificate in practicing law. I enrolled with the High Court of Uganda and its subordinates, enabling me also to practice law in the High Court and other courts. Before joining AHA, I was a legal associate at Usta Advocate. I also volunteered in a number of organizations, Uganda Human Rights Commission, Africa Child Center, Ntinda, where my passion for human rights was really seen and where all began from. Currently, I'm the legal assistant in AHA. I talk to the survivors. I'll call it talking to them because before I introduce myself as their legal lawyer, I become their friend. I enable them access justice. Accessing justice is wide. It's not all about going to court. It's about making them regain their dignity back, making them realize that they have every right to get to the place whereby they feel comfortable, to feel safe again. So basically, that's something I would want you to all know. And another thing I want you to know is that justice is not a privilege; it's a right, and everyone deserves to have their dignity preserved in any way possible. Silence is not something that we should normalize in our communities. A typical day for me is something that have since I started this job, it's not something that has happened to me. Because I can wake up in the morning, I have my own programs that I'm going to do the whole day and I've set it out, but then things change. So in cases where there's a survivor out in community, the first thing I do in the morning is rush to the community, pick up the survivor. This is supposed to be done in 72 hours to preserve the evidence. So you rush to the community, I have to pick up the survivor. I make sure that I take the survivor to the police post, the nearest police post. From the nearest police post, I make sure we get the medical forms that are needed. As a police, mainly the initial step at the first time you go to the police is just open up the file. It's not usual we do a complaint testament there and then. It's not really usual because now we are trying so hard to preserve the evidence. Once we open up the file and the survivors talk something small about what happened, we rush to the hospital. Any hospital that has police surgeons, they are recommended hospitals by the government that when they give their documented evidence, court will accept the evidence. So we go to those hospitals. Once we are done with that, when you are going to these hospitals, we normally go with a police officer. So we go there, then after escorting them, after from the hospital, we come back to the police, make statements. At this time is when we release the survivor to go back home because it's a trauma for them. At this time, I do not even do legal counseling because it's already too much for this client. Then after that, I schedule another day for legal counseling. This happens if the previous day that I had no programs. I've had programs and then I got a call in the morning or the previous night. But if there's nothing like a client there and no instance has happened, I just go to office, look through the files I have, do some legal counseling for the clients who have appointments with me, follow up with the police about some cases, go to court, see if my file and the client's file have everything that is needed, all the affidavits, everything that is needed. Then also I work also with other implementing partners. I work with the chairman. I make sure if the chairman needs something also. By this time now I'm trying to gather all the witnesses. So by the end of that day, I've at least handled like 5 clients. These who I've been giving legal counseling. Let's remove the one who has just gotten an incident, who has just been raped or defiled. That's what a typical day is for me. So if the 72 hours are really captured within these 72 hours and I've used the 72 hours, very good. Any minute wasted in the 72 hours affects the case, because a lot of things can happen in 72 hours, and that is the best time to preserve the evidence. I always make sure that we get the medical forms filled in, and once they're filled in, we capture all the evidence. The pictures are taken by the CID. Anything that is supposed to be done is done there. The witnesses can come in after the 72 hours, but because when you're proving these cases in court, the medical form plays the biggest part. The cases I normally get, I've set up a system for them to reach me, because previously we didn't have any lawyer for GBV cases. Now we had to start from the scratch. We set up a system. The system was set up in a way that we first did sensitization and awareness in communities. Sensitization and awareness are two different things. You have to first let the community know that this GBV is there. This is how to go about it. When they're aware of this, so you keep on sensitizing them. Every community I would pick CAs. CAs are community activists. I would identify like two CAs, or sometimes the community members themselves vote. So when you identify the community CAs, the community activists, you make sure they also work hand in hand with the chairman of the area. Now I give my number to the CAs and the chairman. The CAs mainly respond quickly, because for them they know everyone, and because of so by the time most of the CAs are well versed with these languages. So if it's a Congoli and the CA is a Congoli, it's easy for the communication. The chairman might have some problem with communication, so the CAs reach out to me anytime. They have my MTN number, it's one I always use. They reach out to me. And when they reach out to me, I always tell them first go to the chairman. Because if they go to police, they'll tell them, is chairman aware of this? So when they go to the chairman also calls me and tells me this is the case that has been here. If it happens within time before 8 p.m., we rush there. We rush to the community. Rush to the community and see what's happening. That's how the system has been there from there. And also we do every month, at every beginning of the month and every end of the month, we do police checkups. We visit police stations. We visit police posts. Police posts are different from police stations. When these capital offenses happen in community, the police post cannot handle it. However, the police post transfers the file to the police station. So we always begin with the police post, because sometimes police posts delay to transfer these files. You reach at the police station, they're like, they don't have files. But when you go back to the police post and they have like 5 files. So we always also do the checkups. We do police stations checkups and also police posts. We also visit different community health centers, because some cases are there and they don't know what to do. They receive the case, but they also don't know what to do. And then the team I work with also is very good. We all sit together and we have at least weekly meetings, and then we know the referral path. We work on it. This and this is going to happen. We make sure, one thing that we have really made sure is we leave our numbers there. Even when we just tell them, even if you don't have credit, just beep, we shall call back. So that's how I built the system for me to be able to reach out to these clients, and also it's like my referral pathway for them. The communities I've dealt with, yes, they know now. For the starters, they didn't know. They didn't know these things are there. Because we have different cultures. These people, let's not forget that these are refugees from different countries who have different cultures. Some things are new to them. So at first, they were not aware of these things, that, okay, in Uganda, it's different. So, but with the sensitization, as I said, and the awareness, now they're aware. The problem is reaching deep inside there, because some may not come for the community awareness sessions, but the CAs are there. So at least when they come, those ones, we always tell them, go back and preach the gospel. Go back and tell people what you have heard. Go back and train other people. And then, yeah, the gospel has been spread, yes, but then it's not so much, it's not as wide as I wanted it to be, but at least I can see we are getting there. For the stigma, we are really fighting it so hard. And the unfortunate part of it is stigma starts within the closest people that we live with. That's the unfortunate part. And the most also unfortunate part is that if someone is facing stigma in their family, they will withdraw from the community. And even if we try so hard, even if we try so hard to bridge this gap, there's that thing of culture sensitivity. So stigma is there, culture sensitivity is also there, but we are trying so hard to remove the stigma. The best way we are trying now to curb stigma is we always ask them, if it were you, would you love to be treated like this? You you see someone's going through this, would you really feel that this is the best way to do this to them? The best way you can end this problem is through loving another person, encouraging them to speak up. Because the stigma mainly comes up when someone starts to speak up against what happened to them. And that is when the whole society starts to withdraw from that person. But we are trying so hard to bridge up that gap, and we try so hard to make sure that this person feels safe in the community, feels like, okay, even if I'm speaking up, nothing's good, bad won't happen to me. There are lots of challenges, a lot. Yeah, there's a big challenge of them reporting, because most times it's because they feel embarrassed or ashamed, and then also they feel like it's their fault. And the one thing I've realized, the reason why they feel like it's their fault is because of what the community is trying to portray to them. Why were you moving at night? Why were you dressed like that? Why are you a girl? Why are you beautiful? Why are you get? So there's the big challenge of them coming to report their cases. What really happens on the ground and what exactly takes place is, you see, let me give you an example of this blank paper. You see this paper, it can contain statements of the police, it can contain anything. But the times a client comes to you, they've gone to police, they have really gone there and they have that reference, but they were not medically examined, they were not done anything, because they are being the police is like, it's your fault. Or before actually let they reach even police, someone from the community tells them it's your fault. Someone from the community is telling them, really, you're going to do that, you're going to do that, you're going to put someone who is a parent, you are really ruining your reputation. Everyone's going to know that you have been defiled, everyone's going to know that you have been raped. You get? Oh, when the verdict is given, what happens? A win is a win. A win is something that we all look up to. We would actually all want to, but what happens after is what really matters to me. Because there are instances where, yes, there's a verdict, we have won the case, but what's next? What happens to the survivor? This trauma is going to live on them. The instances whereby the survivor even calls you in the middle of the night and tells you, my family is not speaking to me. This is a family curse I've brought up to them. How come this person, I've put this person in prison? It's a family curse, meaning now the whole generation is going to have people being sentenced to prison over small things. It's something that would have settled within the family, because there are cultures whereby some cases for them are supposed to be mediated. So after aftermath of the verdict is what is more important to me. Yes, the win is important, but the aftermath. How am I going to support this survivor? What I've tried so hard to push for is the advocacy. Me being their lawyer, also have to advocate for them to have a safe place for them. At least I've tried to make sure that they have safe places there they can go to, where they feel loved, their dignity is preserved, where at least they will have all these roller coaster of emotions, the whole effect of court moving up and down. At least it's something that they'll slowly by slowly like try to forget. The counseling that comes after the trauma, after the court, where the family is not supportive to them, and the stigma is we try so hard to put them away from family for 6 months. We have a safe place where we put them for 6 months, and in this place, at least they're getting some livelihood skilling that is there. Then sometimes we do protection orders, but protection orders in Uganda are very hard to work with, because Uganda is an open space. You get a protection order from someone not to come next to you next time you find them in an open space in a market. How are you going to protect yourself from someone in the market? So protection orders are there, but they are limited. We have safe places where we put these survivors there where they get killed, and then also we pray for protection orders, but we have to keep on counseling them after the verdict. You see, justice, when someone gets justice, it doesn't mean that because I've won the case, I've gotten justice. It's the impact, it's how they feel, the aftermath of everything. That's justice. Winning a case and then it happens. Anything can happen. But then how the person gets puts themselves back. That, to me, that's the real justice. How the person is now able to go back to the community, sensitize the community, be an advocate, like talk about these things. That's the aftermath that's I really love to see on people. First, the challenge of medical personnel, the hospitals and everything. We have done our best to train the nurses, the police surgeons, the attending personnel there that are there. We train them how to handle these cases. How you handle a SGBV case is not the same way you're going to handle any other case that walks in. So we train them on how to handle them, how to preserve the evidence. Because when we do not speak out for these ones who are silenced, there will be more of the violence coming up. And I've seen what happens when you speak for these people, the victory that they always there. I've seen the impact of speaking for these people. There's always a win for them. For example, there's a lady who couldn't even testify because she feared how to face the perpetrator. So we had to do a video link. But after her testifying and after me speaking out for her, many other women came out and spoke against the same man. And they're like, he also did this to me. And also other witnesses came up. So that's why I keep on fighting. I keep on fighting for these other women, the voiceless ones, so that their voices can be heard, so that they can receive justice at the end of it all.